Hello everyone, Anthony here of the Bloody Point. Yes, yet another PlanetSide 2 video. I'm sure those of you who have no interest in the game are sick of these by now, assuming you even clicked on it to watch it, but yes, I'm fully immersed in the game again and am trying to find a way to convince other people of what I know and that the game is fantastic. So I've decided to put up this extremely long video demonstrating that. So here you can see a bridge south of a station, as they're called. The arrow to the southwest shows what is called a lattice line, which is a connection between stations. Our forces are currently fighting to take over the base or station to the southwest. Now, these forces, as you can see, the enemy in the blue oval are attempting to push across the bridge to take the station north of the bridge. If they do that, they will cut off the station to the southwest, meaning that we will no longer be able to capture it and the enemy will take that over. The circle to the right, the red circle, is another cutoff point. If they advance across this bridge, they will have an easier time of taking that. So this is extremely important. Even though the main forces of our faction are fighting elsewhere, this particular objective is strategically important, and there's a small group of us here trying to hold the bridge. So this whole video is meant to demonstrate how these types of things happen organically. So in some games, particularly MMORPGs, you have very much a sense of kind of like artificially created content. Open world games, especially the PvP variety, are such that you have this organically generated experience. So there's a small group of us here, perhaps maybe 5 or so, and an equally small number on the other side, although that number increases as the fight goes on. And we're attempting to hold this bridge. So they're pushing with armor and infantry, and we have a small amount of armor, and we're just attempting to stop them from crossing. So I've pulled up a Sunderer, which is a mobile respawn point, and deployed it on the bridge here behind cover to make it easier for us to counter this armor push. Now, the tanks, as you can see, are extremely powerful. They can one-shot kill infantry and turrets that people have deployed. They can also take out vehicles such as the Sunderer. As you can see, one of them is firing on the Sunderer right now. It's taking damage. Its health is shown in the top right. So we have particular infantry on our side called the Heavy Assault, who have a rocket launcher attempting to counter that push them back. I'm doing the same with my underbarrel grenade launcher, doing a little bit of damage here and there, constantly moving forward to advance the position. As you can see, they've damaged the Sunderer quite a bit. It's below half health. I'm an engineer. It's my Sunderer. I could run back and repair it, but I can see that somebody else has done that. That's an important part of any successful engagement in this game, is situational awareness. Being conscious of what's going on around you, what needs to be done at any moment. So if you're near the Sunderer but you're on a different class, then you can walk up to it, switch classes to an engineer, and repair the Sunderer, even if that wasn't your planned course of action. That kind of thing is super important. So you can see the icons on the bridge here indicating that the bridge is mined to hopefully stop a strong push by the vehicles. I'm manning this anti-armor turret, which is an engineer unlock, and have destroyed one of the tanks. They still have the Sunderer, the mobile spawn position. My rounds are going low here under the Sunderer to hit the infantry behind it. I'm not scoring any hits there, so I'm going to just aim for the Sunderer itself, supported by the vehicle fire, I believe. Yes, so the Sunderer is down. So now their mobile spawn on the bridge has been eliminated, and we can push up and advance our position here. A lot of these fights, the smaller scale fights in PlanetSide, are position fights. Very familiar to anyone who knows anything about military tactics and strategy. These little pushes are really what decide things. So we're bringing to the armor forward. Since the tank has gone forward, we're able to advance our position once we clear out the infantry. something we're seeing in real-world situations right now is what can happen if you do not advance your armor and your infantry together. The importance of that in PlanetSide 2 is equally the case. So before I move the Sunday up, I want to make sure that we have some security here up to a particular point. I'm trying to place the Sunderer on the side portions of the bridge where they have a little bit of cover, both for the infantry spawning from the Sunderer and for the vehicle itself. The systems in PlanetSide are complex and deep, and they all work together. Here, this tank was pushing forward. He's taking damage. I'm on an engineer, so I can heal him, repair him rather, and that will allow the push to continue forward. You can communicate with people, of course, with the in-game voice and proximity chat. You have squad level and platoon level chat. You have outfit, which are essentially guilds or clans. And you can highlight an individual person, press a key, and choose to send them a message, either one that you type out in chat or like pre-made message like offering them ammo or repairs or requesting transport. And when all this is happening very fast, these systems become very natural, and they certainly facilitate things. So I've dropped an ammo pack. You can see that they have established a position behind the barrier there. I'm using the underbarrel to get damage, explosive damage behind the corner, and the tank's moving forward again. So now we've completely pushed to the end of the bridge. This is not a secure position, of course. They have a base, a player-constructed base, I should mention, capping the exit from this bridge. One of the amazing things about this game is with the construction system is that players can create these bases, and the players decide, what goes in them, what facilities they have, and a single player-made base can stop an assault of an entire group of 100 people. Once it's supported with defenders. If a battle's happening naturally in a particular location where a base happens to be, then people will automatically use that base. They'll spawn from it. They'll use it from cover. You'll see here momentarily, I believe, in this base there's a particular structure called an Infantry Tower, and there's a sniper in it firing through the windows, suppressing our infantry moving across the open ground here. The tower has windows which can be blocked with a shield if a particular module is placed within range of them, meaning that he can fire out but we can't fire in. All I'm trying to do here is apply pressure to buy time for our other forces to move forward, to get a sense of what they have on this side of the bridge, what this particular base is like. Here we have enemy armor again. Not sure where it spawned from. So as this battle is going on, this is in the context of the overall map. As you can see, there are conflicts going on elsewhere, including that station to the southwest, which the cutoff at the base we're defending would be a problem for. Since we have advanced quite far across the bridge, I'm going to attempt to move the vehicle forward. Honking the horn when you're in a vehicle is always a good idea when there are infantry around, to warn them that you're about to move so you don't run them over. Being team killed by being run over by friendly vehicles is incredibly frustrating and happens all the time. So if you can avoid that in any way possible, you should. So there is a tank on the bridge. There's also infantry with lock-ons, so the Sunderer's going to take damage and then try and get behind cover without falling off the bridge. Here we're about to see something which is extremely common in the game, which is a position that's under fire and at risk of falling, and only maintained through the coordinated and cooperative efforts of multiple people, without communication, I should add. None of us have talked to each other. We just are reacting to what's actually happening. Everybody knows what needs to be done. So I am kind of pocket healing, repairing the Sunderer with the aid of someone else. You can see their effect, while just buying time for our infantry to suppress the armor on the other end of the bridge with man-pads, I guess, basically rockets fired by the infantry. The Sunderer is slowly getting back to full health. Once it is healed up enough, I will push forward myself and add some supporting fire, get some mines deployed. You can see another engineer has placed a anti-infantry turret down, which can be used not just for suppressing and killing infantry by that engineer, but anyone can hide behind it. It soaks up a little bit of damage. The bridge fight is very small scale. This is a kind of a dumbed down example of what can often happen, which is huge fights. Some people enjoy the larger scale stuff, some people enjoy the smaller scale stuff. This particular small scale fight is really interesting because as an individual you have a greater opportunity to make a difference. The tank has pulled back to another position. We're shortly going to see some attention from the rest of our faction. We're going to have some errors show up soon. The fight here is pushing closer to the contested hex, so that combat is going to be seen by more people, and perhaps the importance of this position will be clear. The combination of the combined arms aspect of the game, so you have infantry, of course, you have armor, and you have air vehicles, is one of the strong suits, the game's strong suits. You can find something that you like, not just as an individual player in terms of what you enjoy doing or are capable of doing with your skill set, but also on the particular day. You don't need to be some fast switch, highly skilled FPS player. There are a lot of things that need to be done which contribute to success. Okay, so there you can see I've been shot through the shield I was mentioning. This is not from the Infantry Tower. The Infantry Tower was being built. You can see kind of the ghosted artifact of it being placed by the person building the base. So we're going to go ahead and you can see the fight raging to the southwest still. We're going to go ahead and try and make more progress across this bridge. The infantry push is, like I said, very small scale, but we are making progress. The longer we can hold off this particular fight, the better the chance that other force, the main force, has of taking the station. Once this falls and the push goes off to the cutoff station, then they are going to have to redeploy. Even if they are still in a position of being able to take the other station because the cutoff hasn't taken effect yet, some of those forces are going to have to fall back just to prevent that eventuality, and that's going to weaken the assault on that base. And we want to use we're using a small number of players here of our faction's overall force strength to forestall that. So you can see again different HUD elements here. There's an infiltrator who has the ammo icon. It means that he's below a particular level for some of his ammo deployables, so I can, as an engineer, place down this ammo replenishment object. I can place 2 of those at the level of certification that I have acquired. This is that vehicle there is an ant. It is what collects the resource that is used to build and power the constructibles. That resource is called cordium. It appears on the map in various locations. The ant can also be sorted out or customized in various ways, which can give it some offensive capabilities. It can also be used to deconstruct enemy constructions and can be used similarly as a sunderer with a certain customization option to spawn infantry and resupply. That's super important. So now they have another tank that's threatening the sunderer and trying to push down the bridge. I'm placing an arc of mines here. Most experienced tankers will have the ability to detect mines. There are ways to skill into that, and you'll often see them, stop before running over them and fire at them and so on. You can see the Infantry Tower is up, and someone's in there, I believe, applying fire. So, just a note about the map. There are little dots you can see on the map, blue dots and red dots. You could see that a red dot appeared in that tower on the map just as he fired. So generally speaking, if a player is firing their weapon, they will appear. This can be mitigated through various things, through weapon attachments as well as things which are called implants. The degree of customization in the game is really kind of staggering when you think about it. and there are also items that particular classes can place, which will pulse kind of a detection field and allow people to be shown on the map. There's even a certification, so now you can see some air showing up on the left there. We've drawn some friendly attention, which is good. In fact, a moment's about to come up here, which is kind of amazing, which I only noticed after the fact. I didn't notice it at the time, where this tank here is threatening the position, and you can see that it's going to start applying fire to the spawn point as well, which would be a problem. If the spawn goes down, we have to spawn back at the station at the north of the bridge, which will take more time to get here. Okay, here's a Sunderer. That's an enemy spawn. They're trying to establish such a position on the opposite side, which will allow them to pinch us, and we'll be in big trouble. Fortunately, it took some damage on the way across the bridge, and we did have armor on our side, which is able to finish off that Sunderer, so that threat has been removed. They are going to keep trying, though, and they're going to continue to attempt to take out our spawn, because it is what is maintaining this position. The advantage they have of the base on the other side allows them the potential to spawn vehicles there, as a constructed base can spawn both ground vehicles and air vehicles, but of a limited size. So you can't spawn every type of that vehicle, but you can spawn the smaller ones. In the case of air vehicles, it's a Scythe or a Valkyrie. A Scythe is a faction-specific fighter, and the Valkyrie is kind of a gunship, which can be made such that you can spawn out of it. The vehicle terminal is limited to small vehicles like, I believe it's the Flash, the Ant, the Sunderer, and maybe a Harasser. I'm not sure. So I'm taking this opportunity, since we had some hostile air action and some armor closer to their base, taking their attention to move the Sunderer up a little bit more. This position isn't as concealed as the other one, and my parking job isn't as good. I've left the rear of the vehicle exposed, so it's going to start taking fire from that tank. I've also parked it such that I cannot really use the mounted guns effectively, being blocked by the bridge. Attempting to reposition it for that, but just taking more fire. And there you could see, I don't know if you caught what actually happened, but that Galaxy, which is a large air vehicle, belly flopped onto the tank, destroying it, ending the threat on this Sunderer, which is amazing. So it's an example of a certain type of skilled play that can be done. You can do a lot of things with the physics in the game, and if you're a player of the game, you know what I'm talking about. And if you watch a lot of footage, you'll understand. But vehicles interacting with each other, whether they're friendly hitting friendly or friendly hitting hostile, they cause impact damage, which of course can actually destroy a vehicle. The same is true of infantry. So this Galaxy literally dropped down low enough to essentially land on top of the vehicle briefly to apply force and do enough damage to kill the tank. It was fantastic. If I knew who it was, I would send him a thank you, because he definitely saved that position. So, like I said, you can see the Galaxy is, I believe, on the ground behind the base, most likely being repaired. We have begun to push even closer to this player-made base, and although I did not continue to record after this point coming up, the entire battle increased in size, perhaps tenfold. We were talking about maybe 5 people aside, and eventually it ended up closer to 30 to 50. The huge battle that ensued was pretty insane. One of the reasons I didn't record it was because I didn't want to have performance impacts. When you have a lot of people, the game performs really well, I have to say. When you have a lot of people in a confined area, depending on your machine, you will notice performance impact. So I switched to a class equipped with smoke grenades, trying to conceal progress across the bridge for myself and anyone behind me, given that there is a sniper in the tower that I know of. He could have optics which allow him to see through the smoke, but it's a precaution that I'm taking, and it could pay off. So I have pushed pretty far forward. I do have C4, so I'm going to try and see if I can get into the base and destroy some of the constructibles, but of course there's a lot more infantry there now. As you can see, you can count like 5 different people just there. They have a Sunderer rearming their armor vehicles as well, and spawning in more people. I'm going to end this video with a little sequence. So they've tried, heavy vehicles, tanks, to take out a Sunderer, and they're adapting their approach. They're using harassers, which are fast-moving vehicles which can do a lot of damage. A couple of them, able to expose this Sunderer to fire will destroy it pretty quickly. So I'm going to put some tank mines down and hope for the best. And as you can see, the results are pretty spectacular. A little slow-mo replay here. So I hope you enjoyed. I know it was long. Thanks for those who stayed till the end, and I hope you consider playing the game. Thanks as always.